Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that I haven't really discussed here on the channel, or at least I don't think so. This may be a little bit more new player kind of friendly in this aspect. I want to talk about relics. I want to talk about the best relics that you should be using for a lot of your different characters. I want to kind of point out some of the better ones that you might be getting in your gameplay and all that and more, really, because relics is something that's quite important to your character's progression and, well, to making sure that depending on what character you're using it on, those relics can be more or less important. We'll talk a little bit about gemstones as well, which you can socket into your relics as well. I'll be honest that I'm not by no means I don't have them all. And Pokemon wise, like there is a lot of different relics in Raid Shadow Legends, but I want to do at least cover some of the more common ones that you'll pick up, especially in the blue and purple category, and cover some of the major other ones as well. Now, before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Get out from under that rock, use that QR code, make a new account, get an armor that returned in these three amazing epics: Allure, Tagore, and Ruella at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. And don't forget to use this promo code Demon Slayer within the first 48 hours of a brand new account to get yourself the legendary Tholen Falbeard. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's get started with I guess the relic index, right? So just to I'm going to give a very quick rundown about relics and where you get them, right? A lot of this are going to come through your Chimera. So the Chimera rewards for this is where you're going to get your standard. I just wanted to go back really quickly down here into the Chimera categories, these kinds of things here. And when you plug about 4 of them in, you can see them, you plug them in and into 25 increments to get 100. You need 100 to make a relic. You can see down below, there's an 84% chance that you're going to get a blue, 15.5% chance that you're going to get a purple, and 0.5% of a legendary by using blue materials. And the group chances, this is actually pretty important, that it's going to be a 50% chance of the Chimera grouping and 50% of, or maybe it's the other way around, of the basic one. And why and why this is important, because there's a standard group, and every single time you use any of the relic materials, there is a chance, even if I just use all this live arena relic stuff, there's a 50% chance here of just getting the standard group. This is kind of annoying that I personally find, because, even if you have some really good relic materials, you could still go back to the original relics, which is kind of crappy, the standard group here. There's a lot of other different ones there as well. Now, again, you're going to get a lot of this in the early game by, participating in Chimera. So whether it's your easy mode, your normal mode, and so on and so forth, a lot of the drops that you're going to be getting is going to be coming through here, right? You're going to get your little eyeballs, the ocular masses, that's going to come, and you'll also get additional ones of these by completing the different trials on the different difficulties for Chimera. You're also going to get some star stones, which is important for upgrading your relics, and you'll get some basalts as well, which again is also important for so basalts, a good way to put this is basically like turkeys but for relics. So when you're ranking up your relics, you're using basalt to do that. Okay, so let's go back to the relics page though. Okay, I want to just do a quick overview of some of them. We have the standard group here. We have the Chimera group. So a lot of the ones that you'll get in your early game will either come from the standard group or the Chimera group. There is some of the special event ones which are no longer available. The Alice's Adventure, the Cat's Gaze was like the best DPS relic. I do have this. I have one of them. Actually, there was the Chaos Awakes group. This was available in the summertime, but this is also gone now. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about ones that you can't really get anymore. The Discovery, this was available during the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaboration event, which is also over. There's a few okay ones, but I wouldn't say there was any of them that was like just like, as great as like the Cat's Gaze from Alice's Adventure. And there's this, I really don't want to talk about this. You can only get these Forge Pass ones if you buy the Platinum Pass, which is like the $50 Forge Pass. It's just really not so great. Other ones you might participate and run into would be the Clan Relic group, the Live Arena. Maybe you might be starting to break into that. I'll be honest, I actually have none of these. And also Faction Wars Hard Mode, of which I only have the blues at this point, the Arachnelixir, which is great for my what's his name? Why can't I remember? This is gonna bother me. His name, stupid name. Calvalax, right? The poison guy. So that's an amazing. The arachnid elixir is amazing for anyone that uses poisons a lot. So I want to kind of break down the first two categories though, because those are the ones that you're going to be using the most. So as far as the relic index goes, you're probably going to start with some of these very basic blue ones in the standard group, which are not very good. We have and I'm actually I'm going to remove myself so you can see the stats here on the left hand side. So the Unholy Grail, this is just going to be your basic attack stats here. Now, as you rank them up, they unlock the other different categories here. But realistically, these blue ones, some of them you're not going to want to rank up past like 3-star at most. I would only go 4-star above for some really exceptional ones. We have the Unholy Grail. This is just your basic attack one. You get 2% more damage if under debuffs. Mask of Rage, just some flat HP. So again, depending on what main stat your characters are using, you may want to use some of these if this is all that's available to you. This would be more for tanky type characters, I guess, if you can put on the Provoke debuff. Journal of Necrotos. I actually do use this a little bit. So whereas heals and turn meters increase effect applied to allies are boosted by 15%. And if you hit the I button, it actually tells you how much those boosts are increased per star rank. So 3%, 3%, 3%. So if you get to this about 3-star, you're going to get this up to 21%. So that's 20%, 21% additional healing and turn meter effects. So this isn't too bad, actually. I do have this on a handful of characters. So this one is probably the better one of the blues. The Rod of Blasphemy, whereas receipt, it's basically the reverse, essentially, of the Unholy Grail. Because if you have any debuffs, then you take 2% less damage, opposed to this where they do more damage if they're under any debuff. So it's just kind of the reverse of these two. Here, as far as the purples go, the Gilded Dragonstone isn't bad. The wearer's defense increases by plus 1% each time they receive damage, so anytime they get hit, stacking up to 10%. And this also increases on star rank. So if you do get this up to like level 3, then your defense is going to go up by 14% over the course of the fight. This can be good on longer fights. Its base stat is defense, so this one's not bad for your tankier types or anyone that scales through defense. Demonic Effigy, this also is not super great. I mean, it has a higher amount of HP total, but the effect itself, when allies die, this could have some usage in PvP, like for a reviver. Essentially, if you want to equip this to a reviver type character in PvP, so if somebody dies, then they're going to get their turn meter increased, and this only goes up by 2% per star rank. So roughly, you're going to get to like the level 3 range is more realistic. Golden Elixir. Now this is interesting because this is very much used for these solo comps for various things. I also have my Golden Elixir equipped to my why am I forgetting names for some reason? My Godseeker Aniri for Sand Devils, basically the duo for that one, because when a character drops below 50% health, this can heal upwards to 14 or 16%, which is quite significant for these solo builds. So this is something that you'd want to keep a few of just in case. And as far as the legendaries go, the wand to submit and high, I'm not going to really talk about the mythicals because like I have none of these. So realistically, you're probably at most going to get a legendary, but the wand of submission is very good for PvP. It has a lot of HP. It has some speed if you take it up to 4-star plus, but it has a chance to reflect all of these control debuffs, which is very crazy on a PvP scale. And if you get this up to say even rank 4, which definitely the wand of submission is worth doing that, you can get this up to 40, maybe 45%, but it does go up all the way to 50% on rank 6. So that is the relic index for the standard group. For the Chimera group, there are some really good ones in here, and the one that I want to point out the most is the Malefic Talon. This is the best budget DPS relic that you can possibly have because it has crit damage as its primary stat. I'm going to show you after this, when we look at them, that I have the Malefic Talon on a lot of different DPS characters. Where has a 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. This actually is pretty respectable. If you get to like rank 4 or something like this, then you would get like 35% chance to do more damage. So this one is very good, very great budget relic for most of your champions. The Diadem of Undeath, this is defense focused. Only really good if you have somebody with the ally protection buffs. Other than that, it's just a flat defense thing if you need any additional defense for your characters. Tempest Sanguinis. This is another HP relic here. Whereas turn meter reduction effect. So this is really important, right? That you understand that this is only if they do negative turn meter, aka like Esther Dreamsong, Deacon Armstrong, other characters that can remove turn meter from other enemies. That this will affect that, not for any turn meter boosting on your side at all. So make sure that you're aware of that. Molten Death Bell is a very good accuracy based relic. So if you do need that extra bump for your accuracy for your characters, this is a pretty good one to put on. Even if you just take this up to about rank 3 or so, you'll probably get an additional, and I'll show you on some of my characters, probably around the 50-ish range for accuracy. And also, if they do apply any of these controlling debuffs, stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, petrification, and sheep, they do get an additional turn meter boost. And if you have this on rank 3, it's like, 14% turn meter increase when applying these. So this actually is pretty good. Really great for Fire Knight hard mode because you have to apply freeze on that boss, and you're getting that extra turn meter bump by using this relic. So I do like to have a lot of these relics lying around. Don't waste them. Don't use them as food to upgrade some of your other ones. Another one that I want to point out, the Arethi Coronet. This is actually upgraded from, I would say if you have a DPS that puts debuffs, this is probably better than the Malefic Talon, especially if they're based on attack. So that's important. If they're attack scaling, this is a very, very strong relic. So this is attack based in the primary stat, but whereas damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff up to 30%. Now, this isn't that big of a deal. It depends on how fast you want this to scale, right? So it's but 30% additional damage over the course of a fight, especially a longer fight like Clan Boss or something like that, is going to be pretty crazy. So I love the Arethi Cornet. It is one of the better, easier ones to get in the purple range. The Orb of Transfixion, HP based here, where it has a 10% chance to steal one random buff. It's not very good. If you need the HP from the stats, that's fine, but otherwise the effect is not amazing. The Scroll of the Unseen, I only have like 2 of these, but it's attack based, and the wearer's damage increases by 1% each time any other champion takes a turn when the wearer is under Veil or Perfect Veil. So it sounds like it's better for slower attack based champions. Damage bonus resets after the wearer takes a turn. After that, I'll be honest, I don't have very many of these. I have one Gore Crescent after a year of playing, and that's about it. So I don't know if I want to talk about these in too much detail because I don't actually have a lot of first-hand experience with using some of these. But the Wearer's next attack after killing an enemy deals 20% more damage. So this is a little bit better in PvP if you're taking additional turns, or even in wave-based content. But it is an attack-based relic, so do keep that in mind as well. Some of the other ones, again, I don't really want to cover too much. So what I would like to do is kind of jump into my roster a little bit and kind of share with you guys what I'm running on some of my characters. One thing that I would say is that typically when you're crafting relics, I would wait for you to have basically 100 of a higher tier rather than don't do like this, like 25 with 50 at the epics. I would just wait, right? Make sure that you wait until you have the full 100s and the chimeras to actually pull for that. You can see here that it's still only a 36% chance of an epic, so that's a little bit unfortunate there as well. But there's lots of different opportunities for you to get relic materials. A lot of them do come from during these collab events. You often find them in tournaments and things like that you can collect, and just over time you will end up picking up more of them. So let's jump into my roster a little bit here. I want to share with you some of my characters and like what I'm using generally. I don't tend to switch my relics around that often. So my Commodus, who I use a lot in PvP, is running the Wand of Submission because that's really important. I'm going to get rid of the QR code just for a bit so you can see in the top right. So Wand of Submission, very PvP focused. I have that available here. My Tholen, who is one of my best DPS characters, is the recipient wearer of my Cat's Gaze, my only Cat's Gaze, but this is basically the best in the game. I think this is the best DPS relic that's available because it ignores defense. And right now, I'm getting about 18% ignored defense just on this Cat's Gaze alone. He also has a 6 red for me, so yeah. Otherwise, you could move this around, I suppose, to your best DPS character, but it does cost a lot to remove it, right? If you want to equip it, cost me 320 star stones, and I don't want to keep doing this all the time. So, that's why I kind of leave my characters where they are with their relics. St. Xavier's Tribute on my Shredder, who I don't use a ton actually, but it's Veil based. My Leo is running my Zibia's Servitude. This is the one mythical. This is my only mythical relic I think I own. It's defense based with a bunch of different gemstones here. But I want to kind of show you some of the other ones. That I'm running a lot of Molten Death Bells, a lot of Malefic Talons. You can see here, even on my my Alice the Wanderer, who I don't actually have uh, any of these sockets. So circular gemstones are some of the most easier ones to get. After that, it's a little bit more challenging. That you need to compete in the Chimera Clash chess in order to get other shaped gemstones. Circular are the most common, and I think in Grim Forest, though, they might make them a little bit more available there. So for this, the wearer deals 5% more damage to targets under a shield buff. Yeah, I might just chuck this in here for Alice the Wanderer. But I want to kind of share with you guys that I have so many of these Malefic Talons, Arethi Coronets. For my DPS characters, very, very popular. Demonic Effigy on my Arbiter, just in case somebody dies, I get some bonus turn meter here. We have another Arethi Coronet on Michelangelo. We have a Molten Death Bell for accuracy. So you can see here, I would take most of the Molten Death Bells up to 3-star. This would get 3-star plus 9, and they'll give about a 51 accuracy, which is actually pretty reasonable for anyone who can apply these debuffs, or just using it for the accuracy, because that really helps you get to that next kind of accuracy threshold, even in a PvE sense. It's really nice to have. Tempest Sanguinus, I was talking about turn meter reduction because my Esther Dream Song does do that. We just have some flat HP, turn meter increases. So Donnie has that as well. We have another Molten Death Bell, Journal of Necroto. So you can see I still use a lot of these blue ones here. And it just really depends on the character you're applying it to, right? Scroll of the Unseen. Malefic Talon. A lot of my DPS have Malefic Talons, Malefic Talons. So, I don't have anyone on this character. I'm surprised. Malefic Talon, not another DPS for my Cheshire Cat, right? So on and so forth. You can see that I'm really overusing the Malefic Talons a lot. My Godseeker Aniri has the Golden Elixir for anyone that needs to do solo runs. Really good one there. Probably another Rethi. I should upgrade this actually. Maybe give it to someone else that's a little bit more deserving. But Rethi Coronets there. We have some more Molten Death Bells. Just trying to see what else I have. Oh, Malefic Talent. Nothing on my Whisper. That's surprising. I need to add someone there. Skull of Treason. Oh, I picked this up in the Chaos Awakes event. And then, Gilded Dragonstones. My one Gore Crescent. I might need to move this off of Akamtoon because I think there's a better character I could probably give this to that I am not using. But one thing that I want to point out, and I think I want to kind of go to ones with the circular gemstones. That might be the what is a lot of the circular gemstones. So the circular gemstones here, they're the most common that you can find here. So if I open up in my right, you get these massive lists of circular gemstones, and you get some of these are the most easiest drops out of Chimera, particularly this critical bolster. So I mean, it's not, you don't have to think too hard, just put it in there if you have them. Whereas defense increases by 1% each time they receive a critical hit, stacks up to 10%. They're all good bonuses, but you just really need to know what your character does, whether or not it actually does anything for them. There's a lot of garbage ones as well. Turn meter reduction effects from enemies are 10% less effective. Sure, right, if you're using them in PvP, maybe some PvE examples there, but you can see actually if I expand all of my stuff, I have way more circles than some of these other ones. And this has been basically I'm almost a year in, and this is what I have, right? So it's the gemstones are not super common, unfortunately, and I probably need to sell some of these. Honestly, I just don't need that many of them, so I would just go ahead and sell a lot of these blue ones because I have too many of the blue circles. We need more of the other ones, unfortunately. What else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the upgrading nature of this. You guys probably already know about this, but it's basically like food. It's like characters and upgrading them. And what I would basically do is I would take one of these crappy ones, I would upgrade it. Actually, you have to upgrade it to max level with Starstones. Use a Basalt. Basically, it's like a turkey, and then you do this. And I would take them up to 3-star, and then I would essentially just use it as food for some of my other relics, and that's it. Now, in terms of what I would take up to 4-star or higher, that's going to be very limited in terms of what I would do. I have a 5-star on Cat's Gaze, and this is actually my best relic that I own. You can see some of the other ones I have maybe at 4-star, because it actually takes a very long time to kind of food your way up the relic tree, and that's my only kind of my criticism of the relic system that I would talk about is that by and large you're gonna have a lot of 2 and 3 stars. 4-star takes a while to get to, and 5-star takes even longer. So the grind is real when it comes to relics. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to touch every single one or make a tier list at this point because they're quite difficult to get. And for me, who's been playing for about a year, I just wanted to set this proper expectations for especially newer players who are watching here on the Boilon channel, who are maybe less than 6 months in and kind of what relics you're mostly using. Just looking at my roster, You see a lot of the kind of blue and purple ones, but like the Malefic Talons, the Arethicornes, like those ones for your DPS characters are going to be some of the best ones that you can use. So I hope that some of this was helpful. Anyways, otherwise, let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, if something I missed that I could solve for you, that would be great. Otherwise, before I go, I want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, or if you want to make a new account, get out from under that rock. Use the QR code that's not on the screen here, that is now, to get Narma the Returned, and also these 3 amazing epics, Lure, Tagore, and Ruella. And don't forget the promo code Demon Slayer for Tholen Falbeard, absolutely free within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's going to be it for me, everyone, and I'll see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.